Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stacey Storino. What's going on? Alrighty, if you are new around here, please make sure that you click the big red subscribe button and also click the bell notification and select the all feature to make sure that you get all notices when I go live, because I'm in the midst of doing a 365-day live stream orbit. I believe today is day 14. I've already got 2 playlists on this channel that you can see after you subscribe. And those cover basically the first 2 weeks of topics that I have covered. Every day could be a different topic. It could be an introduction, and then we go like basic, intermediate, and advanced. But today I have a request from one of my students. So I figured, it's not a bad place to put this in, given what we were discussing over the last few days, because this is the channel for entrepreneur moms who are trying to achieve something that resembles a work-life balance while also learning to increasingly go multimedia and increasingly go omni-channel in the real world as a busy mom. Hey, Carmen, what's going on? Here's the question from student Bonnie McCann. And I'm going to put it here. Oops. Let me see. I went over my limit here. Okay, so Bonnie wants to know how she can hire an assistant and train one. Now, we did talk a couple days ago, so check this past week's playlist, playlist number 2. We did talk about folding into the mix, like husband, wife, significant other helping you where they can. Also, kids as age appropriate, get them to be part of your team. Then you feel less mom guilt because you're spending more time with them. And definitely you want to teach them more responsibility. You could also pay them if you want to. I'm of the mind that you don't pay your kids allowance for chores that are household chores and stuff like that, taking care of pets and stuff like that. Those are life skills. They're going to need to know these things after, not to be morbid, we all pass on. So I'm not paying my kid to make a bed. But if he wants to run a business and have his own YouTube channel, which he does at Steven Show 08, when he makes videos, I pay him. When he helps me with my business, I pay him. And so Bonnie's question, and I had to make it like a 2-parter down below because it's too much for one comment in YouTube nowadays. She said, can you talk about training someone to take over your campaign emails? What do you need to cover with them so it gets done the way you need it and have it be in your business's voice? In this case, she says, I want my daughter to do it for me. So I don't know if she's compensating her daughter or not. I tried to reach out to her before I went live, Carmen, and everyone else watching this. Miss Bonnie on the replay, thank you for the question. And Carmen, if you have a question that you want me to cover in a future live on this live stream, I am more than happy to do that. And there's your hi, girl. Hi. So this is the deal. Whoop, transformational healing by Donna. Hi, Miss Donna. Good morning. What's up? Hi, transformational healing by Donna. All right. So it's a really good question. So I don't know in this case if Bonnie McCann's going to pay her daughter to do the work, or if the daughter's just helping out and, like, of course, gaining experience and stuff like that. This is work experience. Oh, and Donna, if you want to throw down a question for like next time's, live stream, that's fine. I have my 365 days plotted out, but you guys are more important. So let me know. I'm happy and likely I can work your stuff in. Here's the deal for the benefit of anyone watching live or on the replay. Whether it's a kid or not, or whether it's somebody that you hire for pay or not, my answer would still largely be the same. How can you train someone to take over your campaign emails? And what do you need to cover with them so it gets done the way you need it and be in your business's voice? Well, first of all, that we'll call it an employee, and make sure you talk to your tax professional, who is not me, to make sure that, if you are paying somebody, that you're doing it right, legal, compliance, and tax wise. If you have a business, It should be set up properly legally. So again, go to an attorney. I'm an attorney, but I'm not anybody's attorney. I stopped taking new clients in 2016. I'm just working with my pre-existing clients because I got enough going on in my business. But make sure that you get the legal compliance and tax advice that you need to have your business set up and to pay whomever you're paying, whether they're your kid or not. And then the next thing I would say is definitely make sure that they spend a lot of time reading through the bank of all the emails that you have sent in the past. They need to immerse themselves in the material almost through osmosis for them to really have the finger on the pulse of how you say what you say. You need to also explain to them. Don't just assume anything, even if they're your kid or you're hiring a friend and you talk about your business all the time. Be very concrete with them. Now that they're working for you, with you, whatever, be very concrete about what your brand is, what your brand experience is, who your niche is, because the niche, pitch, product, and sitch will, of course, drive how your emails read, how you play out the content that you author, or now this person will author for you. So yes, they should, through osmosis, soak in as much material as possible, not just your emails. If you have a blog, they should go back and read any of your blog posts. Okay, if you do microblogging on Instagram or Facebook, for example, they should definitely read those microblogs too, right? Because that's going to have them like soak in it and understand the vibe, the vibe of what they're writing. Because it's not just the mechanical art of write an email, right? It's not just the mechanical art of write the email and this is what I want you to communicate. Bonnie's concern was that the person drafted up, her daughter in this case, draft up the email so that it's in the business's voice. They need to understand not just the mechanics of the business that's being run. They need to understand who the niche is, and don't just give them like two-dimensional, like this is the demographic and this is how much they earn, because that's not necessarily automatically going to communicate to someone who's not you, even if it is your kid, how they should communicate to that person. They should understand what kind of customer you have in terms of how they behave, what they like, what they don't like, right? What they respond to, and how those customers communicate amongst themselves in comments on your blog, in comments on your Facebook posts, your Instagram posts, right? Especially the feed posts. You need to, if you have a Facebook group going for your customers and there's any kind of conversation going on back and forth in there, that's also a very valuable thing for, in this case, Bonnie's daughter to go and read, because she's really soaking in it, right? A couple decades ago, there was a Palmolive commercial and they would have the hands in, it would be a manicurist who would stick the person's hands in what was really Palmolive and be like, you're soaking in it, They really need to be soaking in it, not just the emails, the microblog posts, the blog posts, the discussions going on in the community that you have, like in a Facebook group, even a Facebook page. You get posts that people are like going back and forth on. You get post threads. Have them soak in all of that and have them understand not just what your brand does, but who they do it for and why you're doing it, and why your customers tend to gravitate towards you. Because it's very important that the business voice be continued on, even when it's not you doing all the email writing, all the blog posting, all the microblog posting, all the comments back and forth in Facebook groups and so on, other communities. It can't always be you. As you grow your business, and I said this the other day when I was talking about how to properly call in the cavalry, to start delegating stuff, to start taking some of the pressure off of you. You do need to do that. And in this case, Bonnie wants her daughter to be able to take those emails and take that task off of her, which is great, but the daughter really has to soak in probably a lot more stuff than Bonnie thought. And Bonnie does need to explain very fine grain who her person is, to the point where the daughter also knows what podcasts those people are listening to, what YouTube channels those people are following after, what kind of other blogs, those people are likely going to gravitate to, because that's probably some of what Bonnie McCann did to be able to kind of understand who she's serving, to be able to understand what kind of email she should be writing, because it's not just the person writing the email that's pitching it. It's understanding how, more likely than not, the niche or the target audience is going to be catching that messaging. If it's not done just right, it will feel awkward. Your vibe really does attract your tribe. If you change up the vibe too much, it can repel your tribe. However, you do need to start offloading tasks, and one of those tasks might be email writing, microblog drafting, if not actual posting, blog, drafting, if not actual posting. If you're worried, Bonnie, if you're watching this on the replay and you're like, I'm kind of really nervous, obviously you should have your daughter draft up a whole variety of emails, customer service based responses. You should actually have a bank of those in like a Word or a Google Doc, right? And you could even save documents up in like a Google Drive or something like that, so that the daughter can go look and she can copy paste FAQ responses in emails, but then definitely make it more customized, use it as a base and make it more customized to help whomever needs that answer or to adequately respond. And even doing things like that, she's got stuff to start to draft off of to use as a base. And that might be good, because I don't really know specifically campaign emails, but still customer service emails. This is a good thing for Bonnie's daughter or anybody else to try. Definitely have them draft up everything for the campaign after you've discussed the niche, after you discussed what they like. In fact, even task, in this case, Bonnie should task out to her daughter, come back and tell me, have you gone to these YouTube channels? Have you read these blogs? Do you get the vibe that's there, that we're reflecting into our content and back out in our messaging and our communication to our niche? Because that helps. That's more stuff for her to go soaking in. Excuse me, I'm a little parched. Does anyone have any questions about what I've said so far? Starting in November, there will also be, in addition to the live streams as they continue to progress, there will be pre-produced content coming up. I'm shooting for a minimum of 3 times a week, like in perpetuity. So, but these lives are good because I can respond to people. And if you have questions, I can try to answer them in the next day's live stream. Transformational Healing by Donna says, great advice. Thank you, Transformational Healing by Donna. Yay, I appreciate it. Yep. So it's not just enough to have a bank of stuff for them to work off of. That's good, because you can give somebody that and they're going to sound probably a little too watered down when they start to kind of push out and do more and more emails that they don't have a direct thing to draft off of. Like a whole bank of FAQ responses, that's a lot easier for someone to start out on. But if Bonnie needs her daughter to jump right into the campaigns, then her daughter really needs to soak in a whole bunch of stuff very, very quickly. And that's what I would definitely do. In terms of training an assistant otherwise for non-campaign stuff, I just talked about it. For customer service reasons, because some people will hire someone to take over customer service and be like a group admin. Well, again, having a bank of preset responses would certainly help speed things up for you while you're still doing this. And then you're preparing a whole like cache or storehouse of stuff to hand off to an employee when they take over customer service. Um, let's see how to train an assistant. Otherwise, it really is a good idea to have an employee handbook. You can get templates, but you still need to obviously, besides just making it your own, please do talk to an employment law attorney in your state, territory, province, what have you, because there might be tweaks or angles or updates. So if you just simply grab something off of the internet, it might be a really good start, and it might save you a lot of money as opposed to paying an attorney to draft everything from scratch. So I'm not discouraging you from doing that as a first step, but then give it to an attorney to finish off. Plus, as you go through that employee handbook and have an attorney finish it up with you, that will definitely help you keep the finger on the pulse of things that you have to take care of in terms of, what are their hours? How do you handle sick days? How do you handle overtime? And all of those things. So definitely the lawyer in me says I have to tell you guys to do that too. How to train an assistant other than that in terms of drafting campaign emails and content for posts and blog posts, I would think that's pretty much it as a base. Definitely do your best, especially in the beginning for the first couple of weeks, to review everything. Have them save. If they're in MailChimp, they can obviously, and pretty much any other email service provider, they can obviously save emails in drafts. Haste makes waste. I know in the beginning, it's going to take a little extra time to communicate all of this information out and to kind of helicopter over and edit and review and tweak everything. But hopefully within about a month's time, whether they're your daughter or your child or they're a stranger you've hired, by then, if they're generating enough content, they should feel good. And you should feel good about their ability to send stuff out with increasingly less and less oversight. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. So that's my thoughts on it right now. If you have any other questions, please put, Transformational Healing by Donna asked if I was still sick. No, I'm really not. I just sometimes get very dry, and I'm on medication to help my immune system. I had Lyme's disease with a hospitalization a couple decades ago. I've been hospitalized a couple times since, when my immune system really drops. So now I'm on like 3 different medications, but they do tend to make me run very dry as like a side effect. But to get sick less often and not to be sick for 2 to 3 weeks at a time instead of 2 to 3 days at a time, I'll buy that for $1. All right. So I think that's the base in terms of how to hire an assistant for generating any sort of content, generating any sort of email for you, or handling customer service. Definitely have your policies written up front, any sort of parameters up front. Ooh, and it's also good to tell them what you don't ever want put in messages. Let me add that on. What you don't ever want to see. So if cussing is really like not what you want to see, and you're hiring a super young millennial, and your audience isn't full of super young millennials that cuss a whole bunch, remember, your niche may not be you. If cussing or using certain terms of art or using certain types of language is no good, you have to let them know what you don't want to. That helps them narrow down the field between what you want and what they're soaking in and what you don't want. And it makes it easier for them to hit the target. Do you know what I mean? So start hitting the target right the first time or really close. Chronic Lyme sucks. I understand. My roommate has it. It's awful. Transformational Healing by Donna says, thank you. You guys are welcome. I hope this helps you, Bonnie, when you see it on the replay, and I'll talk to y'all later. Tune in tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe. It's 365 days and pre-produced videos also starting in November. Bye, guys. Woo-hoo.